Oh Lord. Already into it already. All right. Or sensation. Still. Why was that a choice? I am scared. Vivid. What? Why? Why was that an option? And why did I choose it? I don't know. That's just. Oh God. I don't know. I'm just going with what I think is best. Oh yeah, I was going after Yuri, right? I don't remember. Not me picking suicide. Yeah, I know. I don't know why. Yes! These are so good. I would read this book. Disaster. I'm gonna like this book. Death. Okay. Not me. Oh, I'm gonna crack open my tea while we're at it. Another day passes and it's time for the club meeting already. I've gotten a little more comfortable here over the past couple days. I am a bit concerned. Desiree, and my pal Jermaine. You guys keep wanting me to pick Monica. Why? Why can't I just go with mine first? Why can't I just go with my babe Yuri first? Is there like a deep meaning to this game? I thought that this game was all kawaii and stuff. But now that I've seen Suicide, I'm starting to think differently. What is this? Entering the club room, the usual scene greets me. Hi, Gustek. Yo, Sayori. Looks like you're in a good mood today. I'm just still not used to being in the club. That's all. I can pick whoever. Okay, well, hopefully this is just a regular game, lol. That sounds cap. Why? Okay, I see. That's a pretty simple thing to get you in a good mood. But I guess it's always the simple things with you anyway. Speaking of which, I'm kind of hungry. Will you come with me to buy a snack? No thanks. It's not like you at all. I have my reasons. Why don't we take a look at your purse, Sayori? Why that all of a sudden? No reason really. Just wanted to look at it. What? Sayori nervously retrieves her coin purse. She fumbles with the latch and gets it open. Then she turns it upside down and lets its contents spill out onto the desk. Only 2 small coins fall out. I knew it. I can see right through you, Sayori. It's not fair. How did you even know? It's simple. If you had enough money in the first place, you would have bought a snack before coming to the club room. So whether you're not hungry and wanted an excuse to take a walk, or you plan to conveniently forget that you spent all your money so that I would lend you some. But there's one more thing. You're always hungry. And so that only leaves one option. I give up. Don't make me feel guilty. If you feel guilty, that means you deserve to feel guilty. My babe, Yuri. Ahaha. Yuri suddenly giggles. Yeah? I didn't notice that she was listening in. Her face is in her book as always. Ahaha. I wasn't listening or anything. Oh yeah, you were. It was just something in my book. Yuri, tell Gusek to let me borrow some money. Don't get me involved like that, Sayori. Besides, you should only buy what you can responsibly afford. And frankly, after pulling a mischievous little stunt like that, your suffering is fair enough retribution. I like her thinking. Ah, did I just I didn't mean that at all. I got too absorbed into my book. I really like when you speak your mind, Yuri. It doesn't happen much, but it's a fun side of you. There's no way you could think that. You were right, though. I did something better. Now I have to accept the revolution. Retribution. That still coming from you, Sayori. Guess there's a little devil inside of all of us, isn't there? Huh? I guess there's a little devil inside all of us, isn't there? Don't let her fool you. Sayori knows exactly what she's doing. After all, she told you guys she was bringing me to the club before she even told me. But you wouldn't have come if it weren't for the cupcakes. So I had to trick Natsuki into making them. Come on, give me more credit than that, Sayori. Out of nowhere, something smacks Sayori in the face and tumbles onto the desk. Oh. Yeah. I don't know why I made that sound. Ow. What was that? Yeah. A cookie. Sure enough, it's a giant cookie wrapped in plastic. You commenting on what Yuri does makes me... Sayori glances around. Is this a miracle? It's because I paid my restitution? Retribution. Actually, that one almost worked. I was just gonna give it to you, but then I heard you blab about the cupcakes. It was totally worth seeing your reaction, though. Natsuki! That's so nice of you. I'm so happy. Sayori hugs the cookie. Geez, just eat it. Sayori rapidly tears open the wrapper and takes a big bite. So good! Sayori suddenly clasps her hand around her mouth. I bit my tongue. You're going through a lot over just one cookie. I would too. Natsuki takes a bite of her own cookie. Yours looks really good too, Natsuki. Can I try it? Jeez. Beggars can't be choosers. But yours is chocolate. Yeah, why do you think I gave you that one? Fine. I'm still really happy you shared this one with me. Sayori gets out of her seat and goes behind Natsuki and then wraps her arms around her. Okay. Jeez. I get it. Cookie still in hand, Natsuki reaches up to nudge Sayori off of her. Sayori suddenly leans down and takes a bite out of Natsuki's cookie. Haha! What a sneaky little... Did you seriously just do that? Mouthful, Sayori trots away to safety. Yuri and I laugh as well. I would do the same thing. Jeez, he's such a kid sometimes. Monica, can you sell Sayori? Natsuki glances around. Monica isn't in the club room. Where's Monica anyway? Good question. Have any of you heard anything about her being late today? Not me. Yeah, I haven't either. That's a bit unusual. I hope she's okay. Of course she's okay. She's probably just had something to do today. She's pretty popular, after all. Little fruity, not gonna lie. I know. JK. You don't think she has a... I wouldn't be surprised. She's probably more desirable than all of us combined. That's not true. I think Yuri is the most desirable one because I relate to her the most. Excuse me. Suddenly the door swings open. Sorry, I'm super sorry. Oh, there you are. I didn't mean to be late. I hope you guys weren't worried or anything. Monica chose the club over her boyfriend after all. You're so strong-willed. But boyfriend? What on earth are you talking about? Monica quizzically glances at me. Never mind that. What held you up anyway? Well, my last period today was study hall. To be honest, I kind of just lost track of time. That makes no sense, though. You wouldn't have heard the bell ring at least? Must not have heard it since I was practicing piano. Piano? That's what I'm saying. I wasn't aware you played music as well, Monica. I don't really. I kind of just started recently. I've always wanted to learn piano. That's so cool. You should play something for us, Monica. That's... Monica looks at me. Maybe once I get a little better, I will. Sounds cool. I'd also look forward to it. Is that so? In that case, I won't lay you down, Goose Duck. Monica smiles sweetly. Ah, I didn't mean any pressure or anything like that. Don't worry, I've been practicing a whole lot recently, and I'd really love the chance to share once I'm ready. Can't wait to hear this song as well. I see. In that case, best of luck. Thanks. So I didn't miss anything, did I? No, not really. I chose to leave out Sayori's mischievous escapade. I'm sure Natsuki will end up complaining to her anyway. Looks like everyone has already settled down. Sayori somehow already finished her entire cookie. Yuri's back to her book and Natsuki disappeared into the closet. Hey Yuri. Eh? I suddenly noticed that Yuri's reading a different book from the one we've been reading together. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. No, I was kind of just waiting for you. If that's the case, why don't we go ahead and get started? Yes, let's. Actually, I have a request. Do you mind if I make some tea first? Yes! Make some tea! I have some tea, actually. But I'll drink your tea any day, Yuri. What's poppin'? Thanks very much. If there's one thing that can make my reading time here any better, it's a nice cup of tea. I can agree! Not to mention for yourself as well. Yuri stands up and makes her way to the closet. I follow and watch as she retrieves a small water pitcher from the shelf, the kind with a filter inside. Can you hold this for a second? Sure. Yuri hands me the water pitcher and also fetches an electric kettle. I'm going to plug this in on the teacher's desk and then we'll go get some water. She walks past me and sets the kettle down on the teacher's desk. I simply watch her movements. To my surprise, the way she moves really contrasts her speaking mannerisms. Especially because of her long legs, Yuri appears elegant and methodical. Okay, may I have the water pitcher? Thanks, I'll be right back. I might as well walk with you. Yes! Why not? Shall we go then? Yes. Where are you two off to? Yuri was going to make some tea, so I suddenly realized how weird it sounds to explain this to Monica. We're just filling the water pitcher. Ah, okay, sorry. I was just a bit curious. That's kind of one person job, isn't it? That's... Monica, please mind your own business for once. Or do you want to tell me there's something wrong with helping involve Goose Duck in club activities? My mouth gapes. I suppose there's nothing wrong with that. Kind of questioning everything right now, Desiree. What are you getting me into? Let's go to Goose Duck. Yuri quickly exits the room and I follow. Once in the hallway, she suddenly puts her forehead against the wall. I spoke without thinking. How could I say something like that? Yuri, something about the way, it made me feel so irritated. What's wrong with me? No, Yuri. I think you did the right thing. I wasn't expecting it, but it's also not the right for Monica to judge people like that. Goose Duck, how come even when I do something bad, you're being so nice to me? Because I want to see some fucking titties, that's why. Because nothing that you do is as bad as you make it seem in your head. Nobody's perfect. We have emotions and we can't always hide them away. But you always amplify things in your head. Your mind turns a light rain shower into a hurricane. That's some wise words. No. When you hate me for something as terrible as that, why would I hate you? I can't hate someone for having emotions. What kind of friend would do that? Friend, you say? Yuri lifts her head. Goose Duck, I really like being friends with you. Ahaha, thanks Yuri. I like being friends with you too. I feel kind of awkward saying something like that. But I'm doing my best to help Yuri feel better. Anyway, shall we go? Yes. Yuri and I walk to the nearest water fountain. Once we fill up the water pitcher, we return to the classroom. Goose Duck, do you like oolong tea? I don't know what that is, but I like any tea, so yes. Anything is fine. Very well. Yuri sets the temperature on the kettle to 200 degrees. Now it's time to get the teapot. You really do this properly, don't you? Of course. I shouldn't do any less when I'm making tea for others. Even if I'm not an expert on tea or anything. Haha, in that case, you'll only be even more impressed. Perhaps I will. Yuri fetches the teapot and begins measuring the tea leaves. To my surprise, she even starts humming a little to herself. You must be in a good mood now. Is that so? I was letting it show, and he noticed. I was doing a bit of thinking. I decided I would try to express myself a little bit more. That's good. It turns out it's not very hard for me to do. When it's you who's around anyway. Ooh, that's great, Yuri. Don't push yourself too much. You're always worrying about me, Goose Duck. Haha, it's very endearing. Yuri wasn't kidding. I don't even know if I can keep up with this. I watch Yuri pour a cup of tea for each of us. Goose Duck, I have another request. Do you mind if we sit on the floor today? Yes, I would love to sit on the floor. It's a little bit easier on my back. I can read with my back against the wall rather than bending over at my desk. Ah, sorry, I didn't realize. No worries. I just have back pain fairly regularly, so I do my best to manage it. You know, as a growing teenager myself, I also have back pains. Is that so? I wonder why that is. It's most likely because your posture, right? Always hunched over like that while reading. Yes, I have terrible reading posture. So that's why we should sit on the floor. Fair enough. I'll go ahead and get the book. I retrieve the book from my bag. I have some chocolate as well. It's a bag of small chocolate candies that I kept hidden from Sayori's candy radar. I take it since it'll go well with the tea. Simp? I'm no simp. Shut up. Yuri and I then sit against the wall, teacups at our sides. As if in sync, we assume the same reading position as last time, each holding one half of the book. Except this time, our bodies are even closer. Oh! I can't see too well. Yuri slides closer until our shoulders are touching. How am I supposed to focus reading like this? Yuri's always kind of cute, but when she's being less apprehensive, it's almost more than I can handle. Your teacup. Yuri hands me my teacup, holding it with my hand that's not holding the book. I end up in a position that makes it even harder to focus. No, because now I need to worry about making sure I don't accidentally touch her chest. Meanwhile, Yuri hasn't noticed a single thing. She wears her intense reading expression, and I can only presume the world around her has faded away. I use all my willpower to focus on reading. I would too. I would too. After a few minutes, I finally managed to relax a little. I put the teacup between my legs and fumble with the chocolate wrapper. Ah, sorry. I briefly let go of the book to finish opening the wrapper. You can have as much as you want. Yes. Have as much chocolates as you want. That's okay. I won't take any. Are you sure? Well, if I touch it, then it might get smudges on the pages. Ah, you're right. I didn't even think about that. My bad. No need to apologize. I'll hold the book, okay? Are you sure? Of course. This is gonna be my background now. Yuri opens the book with both hands. She holds it so that I don't have any harder time reading from it. But as a result, her left arm is practically resting on top of my leg. Well, in that case, Yuri's already totally focused on reading again. I take a chocolate candy and pop it into my mouth. The candies are good. Then I take another chocolate and I hold it up. And I hold it up to Yuri. She doesn't even look away from the book. She simply parts her lips, as if this situation was completely natural. Yes, yes. But that means I can't stop here. I apprehensively place the chocolate in her mouth. Just like that, Yuri. I can't do this. Okay, I would do the same thing. Yuri's expression suddenly breaks. Did I just... Yuri looks at me. She needs to confirm what happens. Goose Duck. Sorry, I guess I shouldn't have done that. That's... well, you were just helping. That's something that friends do. Yeah, friends. Yes, friends with benefits. Not really in this kind of context, but yeah, that's all it was. Shut up. No. Oh, you don't need to stop or anything. I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna go. Oh no. Oh god. Okay. I'm fine. I see. The situation has gotten really tense. Yuri tries to return the book, but I can tell just by her expression that even she can't focus now. My heart is pounding. I nervously take another chocolate. No, don't do that again. But this time, Yuri, eyes meet mine. How did it even come to this? Yuri doesn't even avert her gaze. I notice her chest rising and falling to the rhythm of her breaths. That's some good tea. That's some. That's some good tea. I raise my arm. Like before Yuri parts her lips. It's different this time. I take the chocolate and place it in her mouth. I feel her hot breath. I feel her hot breath in my fingers. What? Wait, what? Okay, everyone. Yuri jolts back. It's time to share poems. That was very abrupt, very disappointing. Goose-Duck, can you help Yuri put away the tea stuff, right? Yeah, of course. Okay. The spell is abruptly broken. I'll take care of the cups. That was interesting. Yuri picks up the teacups from the floor. I pick up the bag of chocolates. In the end, we hastily clean up without so much as a word between us. I get the feeling this is something neither of us will have the courage to bring up. Yes. All right. I'm just gonna get Monica out of the way first. Hi again, Goose-Duck. How's the writing going? Alright, I guess. I'll take that. As long as it's not going bad, I'm happy that you're applying yourself. Maybe soon you come up with a masterpiece. What? Why did it stop so abruptly? That was kinda... It's kinda cursed. What the fuck? That was kind of weird, if I'm being honest. I wouldn't count on that. You never know. Want to share what you wrote for today? Sure, here you go. I give my poem to Monica. Alright, this one's good. It feels like you're not only getting more comfortable with your style, but the imagery is better than the last one I read. Just wondering, but have you been finding inspiration in Yuri's writing style? Oh, you bet your ass I have. I guess so. You can't deny that she's talented. Yeah, totally. I think her poems are the most romantic. That's the best way to describe it. She's like a totally different person when she picks up a pen. I noticed that too. Or when she's talking about literature, it's like a light turns on inside her. Sadly, it's hard to get much personal conversation out of her. I have. Trust me, I've tried. Who knows what goes on inside of her head. I hope you don't mean that in a bad way. No, of course not. I just meant that I wish she didn't keep so much to herself. But still defending her like that. You must be pretty into her. No, I'm not. You completely misunderstood. Calm down, I'm kidding. Besides, I'm pretty sure she's already got a boyfriend. Don't say that, Monica. I know you're just saying that so I'd be discouraged from trying to pull her. That also makes sense why you interrupted our little Okay, Monica. I'll let that one slide. A fictional one, anyway. Monica kind of whispers that last part to me. Just a hunch, but, well, there's not really anything wrong with that. I was just saying. But anyway, you want to read my poem now? I like the way this one turned out, so I hope you do too. Alright, let's take a look. Save me. The colors that won't stop. Bright, beautiful colors. Flashing, expanding, piercing. Red, green, blue. An endless cacophony. A meaningless noise. The noise that won't stop. Violent, grating waveforms. Squeaking, screeching, piercing, sine, cosine, tangent, like playing a chalkboard on a turntable. Ugh. Like playing a vinyl on a pizza crust. Ugh. And then this poem, a meaningless. Load me? It's even more abstract than your last one, huh? Aha. I guess it's just the way I write. I'm sorry if you don't like it. I never said that. It's just the kind of thing I never really seen before, I guess. I kind of like playing with my space on the paper. Choosing where and how to space your words can totally change the mood of a poem. It's almost like magic. The way I wrote the lines really short makes it feel like they're trying to speak over the noise. I see. So hard for me to tell what it's about, though. Haha. Sometimes asking what a poem is about isn't the right question. A poem can be as abstract as the physical expression of a feeling or conversation with the reader. So putting it that way, not every poem is about something. Anyway, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Hey! Sometimes you'll find yourself facing a difficult decision. When that happens, don't forget to save your game. That's not a literature fact. You never know when you might change your mind. What? That just raised a lot of questions. So Monica's a fourth wall breaker, huh? When something unexpected may happen. Wait. That's what I'm saying. Is this tip even about writing? What am I even talking about? You just brush it off like that? It's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. What? What? Can you repeat that, please? Let's see what you've written for today. Why did she say that? She just fourth wall broke. Yuri stares at the poem with a surprised expression on her face. Do you like it? Goose Duck, this one might even be better than yesterday's. How did you even pick up on this so quickly? Just yesterday I was telling you the kind of techniques worth practicing. Maybe that's why. You did a good job explaining. I really wanted to try giving it more imagery. Yuri visibly swallows. Even her hands appear sweaty. I'm not used to this. Used to what? I don't know. It's fine. Take your time. Yuri breathes and collects her thoughts. I know that Yuri likes to think before she speaks, so I offer her that patience to her. Yeah. Just being appreciated like this, I guess. It probably sounds really stupid, but seeing someone motivated by my writing, it just makes me really happy. Oh. I'm not a simp. Are you saying you never shared your writing before? Yuri nods. Really? I don't believe it. I really only write for myself, and besides, people would just laugh at me. Do you really think that? Again, Yuri nods. Huh. Even your close friends? Yuri doesn't respond to that. I wonder why. She doesn't. And we're both simping for each other, so it's special. You can't prove me wrong. Oh, she's gone. Never mind. Anyway, Do you want to share the poem you wrote today? Yeah, I do. If it's with you? Okay. Okay. The raccoon. It happened in the dead of night while I was slicing bread for a guilty snack. My attention was caught by the scuttering of a raccoon outside my window. That was, I believe, the first time I noticed my strange tendencies as an unordinary human. I gave the raccoon a piece of bread, my subconscious well aware of the consequences, well aware that a raccoon that is fed will always come back for more. The enticing beauty of my cutting knife was the symptom. The bread, my hungry curiosity. The raccoon, an urge. The moon increments its phase and reflects that much more light off my cutting knife. The very same light that glistens in the eyes of my raccoon friend. I slice the bread fresh and soft. The raccoon becomes excited. Or perhaps I'm merely projecting my emotions onto the newly satisfied animal. The raccoon has taken to following me. You could say that we've gotten quite used to each other. The raccoon becomes hungry more and more frequently, so my bread is always handy. Every time I brandish my cutting knife, the raccoon shows me its excitement. A rush of blood. Classic Pavlovian conditioning. I slice the bread and I feed myself again. Okay. I was a little more daring with this one than yesterday's. I can see that. It's a lot more metaphorical. I don't know if it's my fault, but I can't begin to imagine what this poem is about. Yeah, me either. That's right. It's a bit closer to my preferred writing style. Using the poem as a canvas to express my vivid imagery and conveying emotions through them. Yeah, if I take it as face value, then I can't even figure out what it's supposed to mean. Well, I think it's something that different people can relate to in their own way. I wanted to express the way it feels for me to indulge in my more unusual hobbies. It's those sorts of things I'm usually forced to keep to myself. So I sometimes enjoy writing about them. Why do you keep them to yourself? Because they're embarrassing, and people would make fun of me. Don't you have anything like that, Goose-Duck? Well, yeah, I guess I do. Like everyone has a little something like that. The best we can do is respect each other and our individualities. I can't say that word. Even if it's difficult sometimes and some things make us uncomfortable. After all, if I hadn't learned to embrace my own weirdness, I would probably hate myself. Might be ranting a little bit now, but I'm glad that you're a good listener. You're good at a lot of things. Writing, listening. There really aren't many people like you, Goose-Duck. I am the one, the only. That's exaggerating a little bit. No, it's not. No, it's not. Just take the fucking compliment. It's just how I feel. Oh, you know it. Never thought I would feel so comfortable sharing my writing. Oh, you know it. I'm here. But now I almost feel like I look forward to it. Good tea. Okay. It's just a really nice feeling. And you're to thank for that. Oh, you know it. It's nothing really. Yuri smiles sincerely at me. For just a moment, her tippiness seems to disappear. Who should I show my poem to next? Might as well get Natsuki out of the way. Well, I can't admit that it's better than the last one. It's nice to see that you're putting in some effort. That's good. But I still don't like this at all. It's trying too hard to be serious. What do you mean by that? Poems don't need to be all deep sounding to express something. It's going to just sound like you're forcing it unless you really don't suck at it. Honestly, don't bother trying to write poems like this until you're on Yuri's level. Cool it. Natsuki stopped short all of a sudden. Don't tell me. You're not just trying to impress Yuri, are you? No. What are you talking about? And keep your voice down. You know Yuri will love this kind of angsty. Just because she's a talent writer doesn't mean I mean, looks like I'm in trouble. I somehow struck a nerve, and the way I did is beyond me. I'm so done with you. Natsuki shoves the poem I handed her back over to me. Take your stupid poem if you wrote it for someone else. Just don't show it to me. Ouch. This is what I get for letting a younger girl step into my business. This I was a mind reader. I was destined to be the world of pain from the start. At least Natsuki wasn't really the girl I was trying to impress in the first place. Ooh, I like this one, Goose Duck. It has some nice feelings. I'm glad. Does that mean it's better than yesterday's? Let me think. I don't know. I guess I like them both. It's not very helpful, you know. Well, I'm not very good at figuring out if poems are good or bad. But that's why I just go by heart. If it makes me feel things, then it must be a good poem. I'm not sure that's exactly how it works. And again, I guess conveying feelings is a pretty important part of this whole thing. Yeah, maybe. Honestly, I don't even know what kind of writing you like in the first place. Me either. Why don't you at least try giving it some thought? You want to write something for me? So sweet. Yeah, right. But you're always thinking about other people. You need to think about yourself once in a while. If you don't, you might end up getting hurt at some point. Should have told me that earlier. Well, I don't really know what you mean, but I'll try to keep it in mind. Well, whatever. Anyway, let's see. Guess I like happy poems. Wait, sometimes I like sad poems too. Sometimes a bit about middle ground. Middle ground. There's a word for that, right? What's the word I'm looking for? Bittersweet. Yeah, I like things that are happy and things that are sad. Happy and sad? I can't see you liking something sad, Sayori. Well, I like happy the most. But sometimes when you have a little rain cloud in your head, a sad poem can help give the rain cloud a little hug and make a nice happy rainbow. Sayori, that's unexpectedly poetic. Yeah, that's true. It is. Maybe I'm getting better at expressing my feelings after all. Thanks, Goose Duck. No problem. Good tea, good tea. I should go write that down then. You can read my poem now, okay? Bottles. I pop off my scalp like the lid of a cookie jar. No, it's the secret place where I keep all my dreams. Little balls of sunshine all rubbing together like bundles of kittens. I reach inside with my thumb and forefinger and pluck one out. It's warm and tingly, but there's no time to waste. I put it in a bottle to keep it safe, and I put the bottle on the shelf with all the other bottles. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts and bottles all in a row. My collection makes me lots of friends, each bottle a starlight to make amends. Sometimes my friend feels a certain way. Down comes the bottle to save the day. Night after night, more dreams, friend after friend, more bottles. Deeper and deeper my fingers go, like exploring a dark cave, discovering the secrets hidden in the nooks and crannies. Digging and digging, scraping and scraping, I blow dust off my bottle caps. It doesn't feel like time elapsed. My empty shelf could use some more. My friends look through my locked front door. Finally all done, I open up and in come my friends. In they come in such a hurry. Do they want my bottles that much? I frantically pull them from the shelf one after the other, holding them out to each and every friend, each and every bottle, but every time I let one go, it shatters against the tile between my feet. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts, and shards all over the floor. They're supposed to be for my friends who aren't smiling. They're all shouting, pleading something, but all I hear is echo, 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 echo inside my head. That took a turn. Holy crap, Sayori, did you really write this? Of course I did. Didn't I tell you yesterday I was gonna write the best poem ever? But yeah, I mean, I didn't expect something like this coming from you. Monica taught me hello. Ow, I bet she did. And I've been really in touch with my feelings lately. I see that. It's almost kind of creepy. Creepy? Well, not exactly. Maybe because I'm so used to you being so cheerful. Well, never mind. I'm thinking too hard about it. The point is, it came out good. You should be proud of it. Thanks. I feel like I was meant to express myself this way. Whatever you think, Sayori. Whatever helps you. Arizona tea, man. Some good shit. Not sponsored. Although I wish I was. Some good fucking tea. Writing is like magic. You gotten pretty passionate about this, huh? Hope you keep it up. Yeah, writing is the best. Gonna keep writing until I die. I don't know about that one. Don't get ahead of yourself. Yeah, I know. Sayori always had a habit of getting obsessed with something before dropping it no more than a week later. Seeing the passion in her eyes makes it hard for me to be pessimistic. Okay, everyone. We're all done reading each other's poems, Roy. I have something extra planned today, so if everyone could come sit at the front of the room. Is this about the festival? Well, sorta. Do we really have to do something for the festival? It's not like we can put together anything good in just a few days. We'll just end up embarrassing ourselves instead of getting any new members. That's a concern of mine as well. I don't really do well with last minute preparations. Don't worry so much. We're going to keep it simple, okay? We won't need much more than a few decorations. Sayori has been working on posters and I've been designing some pamphlets we can give out during the event. Okay, that's great and all. But that doesn't tell us what we're actually going to be doing for the event. Sorry, I thought you heard about it already. We're going to be performing. Performing? Monica, yeah, we're going to have a poetry performance. Each of us are going to choose a poem to recite during the event. But the cool part is, we're also going to let anyone else come up and recite poems too. Sayori's putting it all on the poster in case anyone wants to prepare ahead of time. Teehee. Sayori, who's been coloring a poster, holds it up for us to see. Are you kidding me, Monica? You didn't already start putting those posters up, did you? Well, I did. Did you really think it's that bad of an idea? Well, no, it's not a bad idea. But I didn't sign up for this, you know. Yeah, you could have told me this before you wanted to do this. There's no way I'm going to be performing in front of groups of people like that. Yeah, I agree with Natsuki. I can never in my life do something like that. Imagine it. Yuri shakes her head in fear. Guys, no, Sayori. I understand where they're coming from. Remember that Natsuki and Yuri have never shared their poems with anyone until just a couple of days ago. This is a literature club. You should have put into effect that we're all a bunch of introverts, including me, alright? But I just have more confidence in these guys, these girls. Sorry. It's a lot to ask for them to recite their poems out loud to a whole room full of people. Guess I kind of overlooked that, so I'm sorry. But I still think we should give our best. No! Did you not hear us before? We're the only ones responsible for the fate of this club. If we start the event and each put on a good performance, then it will inspire others to do the same. And the more people who perform, the better we'll all be able to show everyone what literature is all about. Okay. Yeah. It's about expressing your feelings, being intimate with yourself, finding new horizons, and having fun. That's right. And it's those reasons that we're all in this club today. Don't you want to share that with others to inspire them to find the same feelings that brought you here in the first place? I know you do. I know we all do. And if all it takes is standing in front of the room for 2 minutes and reciting a poem, then I know you can do it. Natsuki and Yuri remain silent. Sayori looks worried. Guess that leaves me no choice. I agree. I don't think it's too much to ask. I think that Sayori and Monica have been trying really hard to get new members. At least we can do is help them out at least a little bit. Well, maybe, but looks like Natsuki doesn't have any arguments left. Okay, fine. I guess I'll just have to get it over with. What about you, Yuri? Yuri dejectedly glances around at everyone else's expectant faces. Guess I don't really have a choice. It's everyone. You're the best, Yuri. The club is seriously going to be the death of me. You'll be... Can you explain that to me? Did you see that? can you explain this to me? This club is seriously going to be the death of me. Okay, I'm just gonna pretend that she didn't say that. But anyway, let's move on to the main event. I want each of you to choose a poem of yours. We're going to be practice reciting them in front of each other. No way, Monica. It's too sudden. Well, if you can't recite your poem in front of the club, how do you expect to do it in front of strangers? Don't worry. I'll start off to help everyone feel a little bit more comfortable. Can I go next? Aha, of course. Now let's see. Monica flips through her notebook to the specific poem she has in mind for herself. She then stands behind the podium. The title of this poem is The Way They Fly. Ahem. Monica begins reciting her poem. Her clear, confident voice fills the room. More than that, her inflection is pristine. She knows exactly how to apply emotion behind each line she recites, bringing the words to life. Is this something she's done before, or is she simply natural? I glance around me. Everyone has their eyes on Monica. Sayori looks amazed. Yuri has an intense expression on her face that I don't understand. Finally, Monica finishes the recitation. The four of us applaud. Monica takes a breath and smile. Oh, so good, Monica. Thank you very much. I was just hoping to set a good example. Are you ready to go next, Sayori? I'll go next. Oh, Yuri's fired up all of a sudden. Yuri clutches a sheet of paper between her hands and stands up. Keeping her head down, she walks quickly over to the podium. The poem is called... Yuri anxiously glances at each of us. You can do it, Yuri. It's called After Image of a Crimson Eye. Ooh. Yuri's voice shakes as she starts reading the poem. Just a moment ago, she practically refused to do this. Why is she suddenly putting in so much effort? As Yuri gets past the first couple of lines, her voice changes. It's almost like what happens to Yuri gets absorbed into her books. Her quivering words transform into the sharp syllables of a fierce and confident woman. Okay. The poem is full of twists and turns and the structure that she enunciates with perfect timing. This must be a rare glimpse into the whirling fire Yuri keeps concealed inside of her head. It's pretty hot, if you ask me. Suddenly she's finished. Everyone is stunned. Yuri snaps back into reality and glances around her as if she bewildered even herself. It's up to me to save the situation. I'm the first to start applauding. Everyone joins me afterward and we give Yuri the recognition she deserves. It's not that we didn't want to applaud for her. We're just caught so off guard that we must have forgotten. As we applaud, Yuri holds the poem to her chest and rushes back into her seat. Yuri, that was really good. Thank you for sharing. Looks like Yuri is down for the count. Okay, guess I'm the next then. Sayori hops out of her chair and cheerfully walks to the podium. This one is called My Meadow. Sorry I giggled. Hee Sayori, it's a lot harder than I thought. How did you guys do it so easily? Try not to think of it like you're reciting to other people. Imagine you're reciting it to yourself like in front of a mirror or in your own head. It's your poem, so it'll come out the best that way. I see. Okay then. Sayori begins her poem. Somehow it feels like her soft voice was made as a perfect match. The poem isn't aimlessly cheery like Sayori is. It's serene and bittersweet. If I were to read this on paper, I probably wouldn't think much of it. But hearing it come out of Sayori's mouth almost gives it a whole new meaning. I read that wrong. Why did I read that wrong? Maybe this is what Sayori meant when she said she likes my poems. It's like I get to reach more deeply into someone I thought I knew through and through. Sayori finishes and we applaud. I did it. Good job, Sayori. Even Goose-Duck liked it. I guess that's a good sign. Yes, it is. What does that even mean? It came out nicely, Sayori. The atmosphere of the poem fits you really nicely, but it might be that other poems wouldn't work quite as well with that kind of delivery. I don't really understand. In other words, I've seen poems of yours where that sort of gentle delivery wouldn't work as well. They might need a little more force behind them depending on what you're reading. Oh, I know what you mean. Well, I've been practicing that kind of thing. It's just embarrassing to do it in front of everyone. The next time, I'm going to make you pick a poem that challenges you a little more. We don't have much time before the festival, you know. Okay. Now who's next? Natsuki? Don't make me go for Goose Duck. It's not like I compare to you guys anyway. Might as well let Goose Duck lower everyone's standards a little before I have to do it. Fuck you. Natsuki, it's fine. It's fine. Might as well get it over with, but it's not like I have much of a selection of what to read. Guess I'll just go what I wrote for today. Stand up and step in front of the podium. Everyone has the eyes on me, making me feel terribly awkward. Oh, I know that feeling. I recite that poem. Since I'm not exactly confident in my own writing, it's hard to put energy into it. Despite that, once I'm finished, I receive applause anyway. Sorry, I'm not really good as everyone else. Don't worry about it so much. Think it's less about your abilities, more of your lack of confidence in your writing. Something that'll improve over time, though. Yeah, maybe. Alright then. That just leaves you, Natsuki. Yeah. I'm going. Natsuki begrudgingly gets out of her seat and makes her way to the podium. Poem is called. It's called. Why are you looking at me? Because you're presenting. Anyway, the poem is called Jump. Natsuki takes a breath when she starts reciting a poem. Her sour attitude disappears a little, while she's still a little euthanized. Her poem has a rhythm and rhyme to it. It's Natsuki's trademark style, and it works surprisingly well when spoken aloud. The words feel like they bounce up and down as if giving life to the poem. Natsuki finishes, and everyone applauds. She huffs back to her seat. That wasn't so bad, was it? Easy for you to say. You'd be better not make me do that again. Well, do you at least feel prepared enough to recite a poem in front of other people? I mean, doing it in front of other people will be way easier. I can put on whatever face I want for other people, but when it's just my friends, it's just embarrassing. What a surprise, Natsuki. I think it would be the other way around for me. Well, that's just how it is, so well, I guess in that case, you won't have much to worry about for the festival. That said, I want to thank everyone for coming through. It might be hard, but I hope that you all have an idea of what it's like now. Make sure you pick a poem and get enough practice for the festival, Ote. I'll be making pamphlets, so let me know ahead of time what you'll be reciting. Jeez. I should probably find some other poem to recite instead. That's fine too. Doesn't have to be your own. Marty, pleasantly surprised that you're putting in all of this effort for the club. Makes me really happy. Yeah, no problem. Okay, everyone, I think that's about it for today. I know the festival is coming up, but let's try to write poems for tomorrow as well. It's been working out really nicely so far, and like to continue that. As for the festival, we'll finish planning tomorrow, and then we'll have the weekend to prepare. Monday's the big day. I can't wait. I can do this. I can do this. Alright. I stand up. There's no way I'll be able to find the same enthusiasm as Sayori and Monica, but I'll do my best to get through it. It's for the sake of the club and impressing Monica. I'll do my best. Ready to go, Sayori? Yep. Look at you two already. Always going home together like that. It's kind of adorable, isn't it? Jeez, guys, don't make such a big deal out of it. Must be a little nice now. Well, how am I supposed to respond to that? It's okay, you stuck. You don't have to say it. Whatever. Let's go already. I'll walk home with Sayori once more. Even though it's only been a few days, a lot of things have already changed. But today, Sayori is being a little quieter than usual on the way home. Hey, Sayori. Sorry, I was spacing out. No wonder. I was thinking about something from earlier. Like how we get to, Sayori fumbles with her words. So let's just say that one day Yuri asked to walk home with you. Huh? What would you do? What kind of question is that? You're kind of putting me on the spot here. Well, walking home with Yuri, huh? Why does the thought of that make my heart pound? Given how hard it is for her to socialize, I would feel awful turning it down. So isn't she so beautiful and smart? That has nothing to do with what I just said. You admitted it. There's not even any point in speculating something that's never going to happen. Well, maybe. I just like to think about it. It's not long before you won't need me anymore, you know? I can't figure out how you're seeing things in your head right now. Sorry. Everyone is different. Nobody in the club is a replacement for you. What is that? No, I feel bad. Being a simp has its consequences, you know? If you say so. The conversation trails off and I'm feeling awkward. But it's kind of her fault for trapping me in such with a weird question. I can't just lie to her. But if there's something that makes her happy, I wouldn't I would hate to take that away from her. That's why I said there's no point speculating. Again, the festival's only a few days away. Who knows what will happen in that time.